Okay, so this is a follow-up video to the previous one I did about Final Cut Pro library and file kind of media management. This is kind of a part 2 to it. What I want to talk about here is moving files off of either your hard drive or when you're done with that video and moving them onto external drives of whatever your choice is. I want to go through my process of what's been working for us for probably the last 100 or so videos we've made. I have a pretty simple process that keeps everything pretty organized, and most importantly, it reduces a lot of the file size on all of your different devices to the best I've been able to find with all my research using Final Cut Pro. So let's dive in and let's just kind of go over the details. So the first thing is all the files when I'm working on them are on this drive. This is a solid state 1 terabyte drive. I don't store anything on my laptop for videos. It takes up too much space, as a lot of you already know, and just instantly clogs down your machine. So I store everything here. This includes all of my active projects as well as my working files. So anything I've recorded and I am actively using from a file standpoint I have on here, as well as my Final Cut library and active projects. Once that project is complete, I will move them from this very expensive kind of relatively small file size to a bigger 4 terabyte. This is a Western Digital drive. These are great drives. I really like them, but they're much slower on their read-write speed, so that's why I keep things that I'm using and I really want immediately on this drive versus this one. Another quick tip is these drives will come with a USB kind of standard port that you plug into. I have a MacBook Pro. It has all USB-C. It has all USB-C cables. So I went off and bought a couple of these on Amazon, very cheap. Focus. And this is a USB-C directly into the drive. Seems to increase it the speed a little bit. Also, I don't have to have 100 dongles getting USB-C to old USB, and it reduces it. Also, they're a lot longer, so I can store them a little further away on my desk and they're not like all up in my space. Alright, so let me hook everything up on the computer and then I'll show you what I've got. So for those who want a little bit more detail on exactly my work setup when I'm doing this, this is what it looks like. So on the left side I have this really nice dongle. I'll put a link on Amazon to it. It is a bit expensive, but it's really nice because it has the USB and the SD card kind of chips that I use, so I don't have to have any more dongles for that. Everything can be accomplished in this one. I also can plug my power and an HDMI cable into it. It's really nice. I highly recommend it. Then on the other side is where I plug in my 2 drives. So on that side is where I'll have my USB-C kind of ports available. That's where I'll have my solid state drive, the SanDisk one, and then the more kind of common hard drive from Western Digital, both plugged in over there. Okay, now we can see on the laptop we've got both of these hard drives shown. They're both plugged in. Great. And really all we'll need for this is Final Cut Pro. Okay, so when Final Cut opens up, it's going to load all the libraries you previously had opened. And so from that, if we go over to the left, we can see kind of the current projects I have open, and I only have my SSD library. That's that 1 terabyte, that small one. I actually am completed with this Kentucky and Indiana video. So I want to move it over to kind of my archived, that long-term library. That library is called Living Past Tomorrow, Season 1. So I'm going to open that library. Now this does take a second, so I'll speed this up for you, but it's going to open up and kind of process all the videos. And this is exactly why I don't typically edit off of this one, because it is so slow. Okay, so if I open that up, this is a relatively new library. This is only our 3rd video in this one, so the process is pretty straightforward. I'll click on the project, or I guess this is an event. I'll click on the event I want to move. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete generated event files. I check everything. I actually don't have proxy media or optimized media, but just in case, I want everything deleted. I've already published this. It's live on YouTube. I know I don't need it anymore, so I push it out. Then I go in, I'm going to move event to a new library. So then I pick the new library, And do I want to include optimized proxy media? I'm going to say no, because really this is just for the archive's sake, and I hit OK. Alright, and now it's moved over into the new season, and that's it. It's pretty simple. Now what it's done is it's basically moved that entire project off of my small quick drive to my archive drive. And that's exactly what I want. Now it's not clogging up my new projects, and it's much faster. Once you're done with that, you can really just close the library. So you go up here, right click, hit close library. That library gets closed, and you're all set. That's kind of all you have to do. One other part of this would be to move your active files off of your small solid state drive over to your archive drive. And I do that since I don't have any of these files stored in Final Cut Pro. They're all stored in my own kind of organization within Finder. It's pretty simple. All you do is you take your two drives. I open them in two separate windows. So we're working with the Living Past Tomorrow stuff. And the two, let's see, let's do it by date. So then the two we worked with is, we did the Kentucky and Indiana video. So let me make sure in my archive one I'm all set as well. Season 2. Some of these I might have already copied over. I bet you I did. Yeah, so I actually copied these over more for backup's sake than anything else, which means all I need to do is delete them mainly from, so these are the ones I created. And then the Kentucky narration I don't need. I don't think that one is copied over here. So this is it. It's just, you just want to make sure you don't delete anything that's important yet. See, I hadn't backed that one up yet. So we'll back that one up. We'll move those. Oh, it's almost 3 gigs. Just us talking. Okay, now that's done. Select the ones we no longer want on my active drive. And we can hit delete. Now, one thing to do also, since these are external drives, is go in and empty your trash out. And that will really flush out kind of, because sometimes it'll still store them. So hit empty trash. And now I can go into like my fancy program. I can see how much space I have left on all of these drives. So my one solid state drive is almost at half full, which is great. And then my archive drive is right at half. And then you can see even on my storage of my computer, I've got half. So I'm really good on all of my space. No concerns. Ready to move on to the next project. Alright, hope this was helpful. Thanks, guys.